Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Monday weather update. So we've got a cold southerly that is moving northwards, but a low near the North Island is also contributing to some interesting weather with the form of thunderstorms and a few big downpours as this system here moves in. Now we're quite lucky that the low itself is very slow moving. If it was to rush in fast, we would have a very windy situation on our hands for the north, but actually it's fairly calm as the central part of the low starts to drift in. But clearly behind it, there is a windier change. And as we go from these warm nor'westers to the colder southerlies, there will be some big downpours and a few thunderstorms. Can't even rule out, again, the chance of an isolated tornado. It's that sort of unstable weather where it's warm on one side, cold on the other. And that colder change sweeping up the South Island. There's been some rain there, which is good news. And that's where we start with the rain that has already fallen over the last 24 hours. This was captured at 2:30 this morning, Monday morning, for the last 24 hours. And it shows Canterbury getting a decent downpour. Some areas in here may be getting around 80 millimetres of rain, and the areas in pink surrounding it in the 45, 50, 60 millimetre mark. So that's a really good bit of rain for the driest part of the country. This is now the driest region. So great to see some rain there falling as snow higher up. In the North Island, most of the colours you're seeing there just showing a few showers that moved through. A couple of them were heavy, but I think we'll see heavier showers coming through this afternoon. So let's move through into Tuesday. And that little area of low pressure by Tuesday is now lying out around East Cape. So it's going to take 24 hours to go from West Coast to East Coast. That's a good thing. If it was rushing in fast, I think we'd be looking at all sorts of wind warnings for the upper North Island. Now this is changing things a wee bit. There'll be a southeasterly change or a southerly change depending on exactly where you live as it moves through on Tuesday. That will drop temperatures nationwide. You see that dark blue line goes north of New Zealand, so everyone gets the cool down. It'll be very wet over in Hawke's Bay. You've got plenty of rain falling there with the cold southeasterly. There'll be snow on the desert road, and there might even be a couple of flurries on State Highway 5, the Napier-Taupo Highway. To Wednesday, there could still be some snow flurries, but they'll be far more inclined to be sort of high up and short-lived. But we will still see a few snow flurries around Central Plateau and the Kaikoura Ranges. This cold southerly is being pushed northwards as that weak low moves out to the east and actually deepens a little bit further near the Channams. So between that deepening low and this incoming area of high pressure, we will see showers blowing through. Now as we go through the week, as we get into about Thursday, still cold, still got that blue line, but Western New Zealand should be pretty sunny. So it's not exactly a bad forecast. It might feel more like traditional winter. Speaking of winter, it's going to be pretty wintry over around the eastern North Island on Thursday. Still got those strong winds. They could be gale force as that low deepens further and presses against the high. Keep up to date with the latest warnings. Speaking of Met Service, we now have a warnings page at Weather Watch, so you can stick with our website if you prefer. You just go at the top where it says maps and radars, you'll see the drop down there with the latest warnings that come in from Met Service. So by the end of the week, we've got a high pressure rolling through. So Friday is actually a calm day across both islands. The showers out here around Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, Mahia Peninsula, they fade for the most part. Mahia, you probably still got a few more showers, but it fades away with that southerly and the high comes in, and guess what? Warmer winds are now coming in. So as we go into the weekend, we've got subtropical winds coming back and nor'westers coming back. So it will be warmer than average as we go into Saturday in both islands. The high parked up here, the subtropical portion over the North Island, the South Island getting a traditional nor'wester, followed by the sou'wester. And our final map is for Sunday, which shows that developing southwest change, which will dominate the weather next week in New Zealand. But for now, on Sunday, it'll be subtropical warmth, a band of rain coming in, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms as we go from warm to cold again. And next week, like I say, plenty of sou'westers, which means eastern areas next week should be sunnier, making up for this week. It's really good when Mother Nature does this balancing act. It's really good for our economy. So we get a bit of wet weather everywhere and then the dry comes back. It's an excellent forecast. That is all from me. I'll see you again on Tuesday.